The martial arts is going in cycles, Will.
Yeah.
And it goes through reality scenes, and then it goes back to aesthetic, and then it goes through reality scenes, and it keeps reinventing itself. It keeps finding its own classical mess. So I personally see the martial arts as an individual thing. So not where is the martial arts going, where's the individual going? The way the world is going, the way we're being, at the moment, we're being force-fed, you know, lots of kind of lower consciousness stuff, you know, lots of tabloid stuff. We're seeing lots of violence. So eventually that's got to spend itself. That will have to spend, it'll have to disappear, and people will be forced into high levels of consciousness. So I think for the individual, you know, and through the we can do it through the martial arts. Sometimes the martial arts is one of the worst things for it, because from my experience of martial arts, there's loads and loads of mice leading camels. Loads of people who aren't doing it, they're not doing it, and they know they're not doing it. But like I said, I'm not judging them, because I was there myself. I think I was a 5th Dan at the time, which is a master grade, and still couldn't control my food. And I still couldn't stop myself wanking off on the porn. You know, I still found myself being drawn into lots of addictions. And then I thought, I'm living a lie. I'm teaching that you can be anything, and I'm not being anything myself. It's not enough to be a good fighter. Fighters are falling out of the trees. You've got to go higher than that. You've got to wobble. You've got to be courageous. You've got to lean into the sharp edges. You've got to go where it's hot. So I started gradually doing that. That's why I started working with Tony Summers, because, you know, his workouts are internal. They force you to look at stuff that is much worse than what you're going to see on a nightclub door. So, you know, I pride myself in working internally and continue to work internally. And it's not that I don't fall off the wagon. It's not that I don't make mistakes. Of course I do. I'm human. You know, monkeys fall out of trees. We make mistakes, but that's okay. I'll pick up, I'll learn from that, and I will place myself in front of people who will say, you need to work on that, you need to work on that. I will put myself at the bottom of someone's class. That's what I've always done. And I might kick and scream a little bit, but I'll do it. And I would encourage all the people out there who aren't taking that next step to take the next step. What we did really early on was we did the forge training, which was the animal day stuff, which was brutal. I say it's brutal. It was no different to boxing or wrestling. It's just combined. You look at Thai, it's brutal. You look at boxing, it's brutal. You look at good judo or good wrestling, it's very brutal. All we did was put them all together and throw in a few expletives. And people would be like, we had an MP was going to ban me. Actually got banned from Weymouth, I did, for Animal Day stuff. I think they were going to close the gate and not let me in. Caused a furore, you know, it caused a massive uproar. And all we kept saying to people, you know, actually the son rang me up and said, we've had this story about you, and I said, I'm not interested in talking to you. And I told him what we do, and he says, well, you know, if we do a story, how we'll do it. I said, yeah, I know how you'll do it, and that's why I don't want to do a story with you, because, you know, the way you'll portray me is not how I feel. You know, I'm going into this. We got doctors, priests. We had a priest. We had a policeman, a fireman, kind of a fireman, part-time fireman. We had lots of really respectable people working with us, because not because they wanted to be better fighters, but because they wanted to find freedom from the 4 poisons. They wanted to find freedom from these archetypes. That's why they were there. In America, the Dog Brothers call it higher consciousness through harder contact. So we found higher consciousness through harder contact. But the danger is, you know what Nietzsche says, be careful when you hunt the dragon that you don't become the dragon. The danger is with going into the heavy stuff is that you can get stuck in the heavy stuff. And you have to have the courage to pull yourself out of the heavy stuff. So go through a forge, go through it as soon as you can. And when you hit high levels of consciousness, you know, just keep searching, but stop working out and start working in.